Now I request Dr. Chhalamayi Reddy ji from Telengana. She is the chairman of the Institute of Human Study, founder of late Professor Madhusudan Reddy. Please, requesting you to give your talk.
Namaste to everyone. I would like to start with first expressing my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Shyama Didi for inviting me to this wonderful program, to the first women's Pathachakra here in Orissa. Already there have been many references which have been made since morning about my late father, Professor Madhusudan Reddy. So it has made me to recall those wonderful memories when I personally had come with my father. I think once with him for the annual meetings on April 4th, and then once I had attended the integral school, integral education programs organized here in Matri Bhavan. So I feel very much at home because as Gadadhar ji just now was mentioning, and I think Shyama Didi and Vijay Didi also was saying, Vijay Didi spoke in the morning in the exhibition that Madhusudan ji was very much loved by the people of Orissa as much as Madhusudan ji himself loved people of Orissa. It is very true because I thought that he had come about 5 to 6 times, but Gadadhar ji just said probably many more times than even a dozen times. I do recall that he used to visit Orissa on an annual basis, and every trip that Champak Bhai made in Orissa, my father was there with him, along with Sharma ji and Pati ji. So they were all a group together. So, as was said, he was really one of the pillars who really inspired many people in Orissa to turn towards Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. So I'm deeply grateful to be invited today because I do feel very responsible to take the legacy forward, to do his work. The work that was started by him in 1964, when the mother blessed him with the name the Institute of Human Study at Hyderabad. So indeed, I am in a very humble way trying to carry that work forward, and I feel very blessed about it. But in 1964, I personally was in Pondicherry. I was admitted as a student there. And this school, Sri Aurobindo International School, which runs under the aegis of the Institute of Human Study, started in 1967. So I came to Hyderabad much later, in 1979, once I graduated from the ashram school. And I was a student then, and I hadn't really started working for the institution. I joined the school just to be able to render my services under the guidance of my father around in 1984. I started in 84 and then I worked at the school for a year, and then later on again I joined in 92. And since 92 till date, I am associated with the work at Sri Aurobindo International School. I would like to just say that I really was inspired and appreciated what Sri Prasad Tripathi ji spoke about, the wonderful work that is happening in Orissa in regarding to so many integral education schools and the study centers. And what came to my mind was these two important aspects that needs to be bridged, that needs to be integrated in the work of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. that of consciousness and manifestation. Because what Prasad Bhai was speaking about was very relevant, because he spoke about the fact that it is not important that the number of integral education schools increase. He said what is important is to bring about a change in the consciousness of the people. Well, I think everyone agrees that it is easier said than done. That is the biggest challenge for all of us. The work at hand and how to bring in the mother's consciousness into that work. So we are all doing different works. And just now Dr. Vibhaji was beautifully explaining of the wonderful work that is also going on in Gujarat, just the way so much of work is going on in Orissa. But again, what I would like to see and what comes to my mind is, just like Sri Aurobindo said, that every country in the world would manifest a different aspect of the divine, every state in India also manifests a different kind of a consciousness of the mother. And in whatever manner the state is open to the mother's light, the mother works through that. So we have a lot of variation in terms of the kind of work I think we do in different states. I'm sure Amita is going to be sharing how the work happens in Delhi, and there's a different kind of work happening in Bangalore, in Karnataka. There is so much of variation, and I think that is the beauty of it all. We are not repeating what the other state does. We would like to strengthen ourselves by and complement each other in terms of what every state does. And as Shyama Didi was saying, that the purpose of calling us here was to share the kind of work that we are doing, so that we can exchange some thoughts and ideas about how it can be implemented in our own in state or city that we are working in. So I would just like to give a very short report as to what has been done and what we are trying to do now. Well, the Institute of Human Study, which was started by Professor Madhusudan Reddy in 1964, he conducted many seminars, many conferences on a state level, on a national level, on an international level. He being a professor of philosophy, it was something which came naturally to him to come up with ensuring that there are people who are going to be gathered to be able to learn and be inspired about Sri Aurobindo's teachings, Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. Apart from that, there were many other activities also that he did. He was basically an institution builder. So he not only started the Institute of Human Study, he founded other trusts, the Matri Darshan Trust, the Auro Darshan Trust, presently now Sakar at Pondicherry, and very importantly the Sri Aurobindo International School, which has started in 1967, and that is where I am working hands-on today. So most of these different kind of institutions were built to serve different purposes. So the Matri Darshan Trust addressed itself to trying to look into the rural upliftment and trying to come about sharing the vision of Sri Aurobindo and the mother amongst the people, amongst the rural, people of the villages which make part of the Jangaon district. And apart from that, we have started in 2015 a residential school there. We have about 160-70 students, and we named the school as the new creation, a free progress school, aspiring to try to, implement however best possible in that setup the ideals and principles and aims of integral education. The school at Hyderabad, since I have joined, that has been my work, that we have been trying very sincerely to orient the teachers about what integral education is all about. Because I feel just the way in Orissa you have felt that the Pathachakras, the study circles are the real soul of the schools, and it is important to inspire and to instill the vision of Sri Aurobindo and the mother in the people who get connected to the schools, so that there is a slow transformation which is happening in their life. Now, this is something which unfortunately in Telangana, in Hyderabad, it is not happening. And it is very difficult to bring people together in the form of a study circle. So we had to think of different means, and one of the ways we have been doing it is firstly trying to orient very thoroughly the teachers who make part of the school, and we have around 130 teachers, and that's quite a big number. And we are trying to, kind of, with the mother's grace, just make them to first open to Mother and Sri Aurobindo, because through them, again, the children are going to be inspired, influenced and guided. So that has been the main area of my work, that on a very regular basis, on a weekly basis, I meet all the teachers and we go through the writings of Sri Aurobindo Mother, especially in the field of education, apart from some other, books, compilations that we read. So the work has been going on. I feel it's a process where I am able to definitely with confidence say that there has been a great change in the teachers. But at the same time, I should be honest saying that, as I said, I don't know, because I always feel there is this challenge, there is this sense of conflict in me as to whether the part of instilling consciousness in them is something which we can do. I don't think we can do that. We need to create a context, a situation where the mother's grace will act upon their lives. And that is something we have been doing very well with lot of different programs and activities. So this is the kind of work we have been doing in the school. I can represent only our institution. I do not have the picture of the other centers in Telangana as a state, because most of the other many centers make part of the society centers there, and I'm not aware of the statistics as such. But because Shyama Didi spoke about, sharing with all of you something that we specifically do for women, I would like to say that since 1 year, we have started an organization, a small unit called Matri Chetana at Mathidarshan Trust in this rural setup, where the objective is to empower young adult girls from the age of 14 till 24, 25. And we have been basically trying to talk about, we have come up with modules for their health and hygiene, their food and nutrition, their concerns about menstruation, their sense of, the problems that they face in child marriages, because these are all the big challenges that we see happening in the rural setup. Well, I think urban part of it, all of you already know. We have other challenges of the digital media coming into the life of people. Just now, half an hour back, when I was speaking to Gadadhar Bhaiya, he was saying the times when my father came in Orissa was very different, and that was something which was awesome, which was something very special. And I do remember that it was as if it was a very powerful descent of the mother then. Today we have to battle different things. In our lives, this whole distraction, this whole kind of, the whole digital world has come into the life of each and every one of us. And the work, I think, has become even more challenging for all of us to turn towards the Mother and Sri Aurobindo and to try to see that there is a, there is a kind of a study on a daily basis. As Prasad Bhaiya was saying, it has to change our lifestyle. That is something which is on a very personal level, but that has to be done. And until that is done, the bridge between consciousness and the manifestation will not really happen. Apart from all these different programs for girls that we have been doing, we had a preliminary session and an advanced session. And in the advanced session, I personally came up trying to interact with these young girls, young youth, where I tried to kind of share with them a question, make them to question about the purpose of life, what the mother has spoken about in psychic education, trying to make them to become more and more aware that there is a divine presence in them and there is something which has more meaning in our life other than just living on a day-to-day basis and then going on with the same kind of practices as the mothers or the grandmothers went through. So through this medium, just trying to touch their lives and speak about Mother and Sri Aurobindo, bring some literature about Mother and Sri Aurobindo in Telugu to them, is what we have been doing in Matri Chetana. We have covered about 60 to 70 girls by now. We had about 4 to 5 sessions starting this June. Till date, these are the number of girls that we have been able to interact with, and the idea is to have a follow-up so that we can see that they are able to be still connected with the trusts, and this awakening in them is happening slowly and steadily. So I would like to directly come to sharing some of the many activities that we have been doing recently for the 150th birth anniversary celebrations of Sri Aurobindo, and these have been very many kinds that we have been engaged in, starting from the inauguration of the exhibition by the Vice President himself last September 4th in Hyderabad. We went on to having online programs, online talks, several talks. Every month we had an online talk by different scholars in the country. And then what we did was we came up with training the trainers, as in Orissa also you have been trying to do. We have come up with some youth where we have been able to orient them about Sri Aurobindo and the mother so that they can carry on their work in their own groups, and ask and requested them to take some books of the mother and Sri Aurobindo to start reading and have some study circles. Apart from that, we had a conference on national education policy, as in terms of reflecting the integral education vision of Sri Aurobindo. In March, we had a very good program and 300 teachers were able to attend the program, and we were able to really make them to appreciate the kind of the common points that today NAP is reflecting in the light of integral education. Then we have, through these last few months, we have been doing again several programs. Under sports, which we call that Auro Krida, we had several very long runs, starting from 150 kilometers. We are going to have a 10K kilometer run, a 3K and a 5K run. And then we had a very long program of nearly 3 to 4 days for rural sports, where again we took the opportunity each time to expose them to the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And we have been able to print about 5 booklets, very important booklets of Sri Aurobindo, both in English and Telugu. The life of Sri Aurobindo, the life of the mother, the most important essays written by Sri Aurobindo, then his own writing about his political journey, his few poems, and as I said, Bhavani Bharati, his 99 verses in Sanskrit translated into English. This we have been able to distribute to nearly 300, 400, 500 people, youth mostly till now, so that kind of spreads around in the youth. Again, the conflict is, just by distributing the books, are we really creating an awareness, a consciousness of Sri Aurobindo and the mother in their lives? What made us to do was at least inform the people. Today in India, it is such a pitiable state that millions of people in India do not even know the name of Sri Aurobindo. This is the unfortunate situation today. So through different programs, we are just trying to touch their lives, at least make them to have in hand something about Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And this we did through another competition, inter-school, inter-college competition, where we were able to reach 260 schools and colleges. So this is something that we've done, and very proud of that, because there were so many students who participated in the competitions of essay writing, painting, declamation, and poetry recitation, all these different aspects. So many students came to know about Sri Aurobindo, and some literature of Sri Aurobindo and the mother were able to reach their homes. So this is something, the Oro Sammelan, where we came up with the inter-school competitions. We came up with a play recently called The Divine Adesh. So the performance by the students was able to cover the life of Sri Aurobindo from 1905 to 1910. Again, a medium through which many people came to know the life of Sri Aurobindo and his great contribution to the freedom struggle. Again, this is not known. This is absolutely unknown in most of the, circles of the youth and the public at large. So that was again one medium. And recently, just on the 10th, 11th and 12th of December, we came up with an exhibition called Aurobindo, where the inspiration was drawn from Sri Aurobindo's The Renaissance of India. And we took that book and we were able to translate that into the students expressing themselves, right from the top pyramid of the highest spirituality, concept of spirituality, religion, literature, and then, different forms of art and architecture and music, to the life forms and to the polity also, where we covered Sri Aurobindo's life, Sri Aurobindo's works. So we have around 1,300 parents in our school, and many other school students and many other, visitors visited this school. So there were nearly 2,000-3,000 people who visited the school, and they benefited from, looking around the exhibition. We had about 35 to 40 rooms. The Vice Chancellor, the Hyderabad Central University Vice Chancellor was invited. He was absolutely thrilled at it. He saw the exhibition for 5 hours. So these are the different ways and means that we are trying to come up with Sri Aurobindo's work, to trying to spread it in the general students, the youth, the people of Hyderabad. And we are going to have a Telugu conference on education, integral education. Again, hopefully 200-300 teachers are going to be attending this. So these are the different ways that our school has been very active. And through this school, again, as I said, we are trying our best to be able to bridge, to integrate this sense of instilling the consciousness of the mother, along with, trying to manifest their vision through different kinds of work, different kind of events, different kind of activities, and hoping that both of them are going to be integrated. And this is an offering, a humble offering of the Institute of Human Study and Sri Aurobindo International School at the feet of the Master Sri Aurobindo. Thank you.